Parents' costs are set to soar. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, and this is an article that, frankly, I had to look at when I saw the title. It's about Aussie parents' cost soaring. And as a father of 6 children, bloody hell, I'm worried about that. I'm thinking, we got to look at this one. Definitely on the roster for tonight. So let's jump over and have a look at this one. So it's about back to school. And we homeschool, so we're just in the process of figuring out the curriculum, or we've figured out the curriculum. I just need to write up some coursework for what I'm doing. Rachel's got her stuff sorted for this coming year. And, we have costs associated with that, but I don't know if it'd be $4,000. I hope not. Rachel's buying a few more books. I hope it's not that expensive. I'm teaching mathematics to the kids, and we generally work through some maths books and try and bring a bit of Khan Academy in there. And I want to do a unit where we combine all the different kids about making a computer game. So we want to look at developing a narrative, looking at different tools and IT skills and some artwork to build a really simple computer game over the, 20 weeks that I have. So we'll have to see. Let me know if you have any suggestions for what... I'm thinking we go back and we kind of make like a little Asteroids, the first ever computer game, and then try and adapt that and expand upon that. But still, back to this article, because I doubt this is homeschoolers. So, Aussie parents to be hit with a $4,212 cost. Aussie parents are racing for a budget blowout with back-to-school costs expected to soar. So, back-to-school costs will burn $11.4 billion hole in parents' pockets in 2023, according to new research from Finder. Now, is this in addition to what people were paying in the past, or is it just normal? $11 billion, that's a third of our coal exports, so that's a significant chunk. The research revealed Aussie parents would be bracing themselves for a back-to-school budget blowout. Finder crunched the number on school expenses in 2023 and found that school supplies alone were expected to cost families a whopping $2.6 billion for the year ahead. A fresh set of school staples, complete with textbooks, stationery, and a uniform, will set parents back an average $571 for primary school and $771 for secondary school students. That's a cost we don't have. We don't have to buy uniforms. I'm just thinking, what do we have? We've got reading eggs. That's what we've subscribed to as a learning tool, because it's a really good program, actually, for learning how to read. And for Frederick, our second eldest, our first boy, he did struggle with the alternative approach to reading, and he's doing really well in reading eggs. And now that I've learned a little bit more about the methodology behind that alternative approach we took, which is what the distance ed school recommended to us, I see why reading eggs is so popular. But I'm just thinking $700. That sounds right. With all the textbooks, stationery, they want you to buy a book for every little thing, and yeah, it adds up quick, doesn't it? With other costs like tuition fees, uniforms and technology, camps, excursions, sporting and music equipment, and transport costs are taken into account, this jumps to a national spend of $11.4 billion. Let's compare this to us as a homeschooler. We don't have tuition fees. We have probably subscriptions to like Hoffman Academy. Khan Academy is completely free, to reading eggs, but we're talking like maybe $100 a year each, if that. We've got swimming lessons, but that would be not included in the school fees either, would it? Uniforms, we don't have to worry about that. Technology, we've got enough already. I don't really need to buy stuff every year. We'll see. Camps, yes, but we usually go along on them. Excursions, yes, we have that, but that turns into a family thing. Sporting, yes, we have that, but more so dance school. Music equipment, we already have that. We don't need to buy any more. And transport costs, that's just life. But I guess we don't have the school run. Wow, homeschooling it's sounding good. So that's $2,325 for each primary school child and $4,000 for a secondary student on average. $4,000 a year. Does it cost that much, really? According to, I guess, the tuition fees. Here's an interesting one. Rachel was shopping, and there was a tutor, advertising, because we're an Asian suburb. So of course there's going to be like the tiger mums, the stereotypes, making their kids work really hard and being quite competitive, and they reap the rewards for that. And so there's a tutor there, and I think she was telling me it's like $750 for 3 hours a week for term. Might be a good business to get into, providing tutoring services. I mean, there you go. Completely biased. I would love if the funding for students, about the $20,000 the schools get per head, goes with the student. So if you choose to homeschool, you just get that money and you could spend it on your child's education, however you see fit. Wouldn't that be great, guys? Or maybe even half that. Save the taxpayers some money. But I can't. I'm just thinking how many excursions I could do, how much equipment I could buy for each child. That's for each kid. So education is big business, guys. It's big business. That's the problem with it. And that's why you get less innovation. Honestly, I'm a bit concerned with how education's going in Australia. Hang on, I don't think I have this data here. Yeah, you can see here, this is our Australian achievement trends have been just crashing. The building education revolution was a complete disaster. It hasn't really improved anything. My criticism is with the amount of work that's in the curriculum. They just chock so much stuff into it, and it's just it becomes so bloated. It really becomes so bloated. So, according to Finder's Parenting Report 2022, which surveyed 1,032 Aussie parents of children under 12, 17% of Australian parents were contemplating moving their child from a private school to a public school to reduce their expenses. There you go, guys. This is the impact of people feeling the economic times, taking their little Johnny out of private school. Although we went to a private distance ed school first, and it was much cheaper than, what was the most expensive thing that really got me, really pissed me off too, was kindergarten. Going to kindergarten. It'd be like 3 days a week for bullshit how many hours, have few hours. Then they'd hit you up to mow the bloody lawn, to do every single thing, to every single charity. They want money, 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 money for you. And half the time the kids are spending there clapping to some bullshit hippie green song. Unbelievable. I'm there going to Rachel going, our university subjects were cheaper than kindergarten. And that was a cheap one too. That was one of the cheaper ones. So yeah, don't get me started. A further 10% of families had already made the switch to a public school as living costs skyrocketed. I mean, I went to a public school, and it does the job. It comes up to the students, really. I've got friends who have gone to both. Finder Money expert and mother of 3, Sarah Migginson, said the back-to-school costs were significant. With the cost of living continuing to skyrocket, many parents will struggle to afford the necessary supplies, clothing, and technology for their children, Migginson said. Some schools are forced to make difficult decisions about which supplies to buy and which to go without. Many will reach breaking point as rising fuel and food costs, Christmas debt, hangover, and back-to-school costs collide. I mean, it's just a trip to Office Works. It shouldn't be that expensive, should it? It'll be people taking tuition fees. That'll be what it is. Tuition fees and voluntary school contributions tend to be the biggest expense, costing parents on average anywhere between $204 on a public primary school to $10,662 for an independent secondary school, adding up to a national spend of $3.4 billion. Other hidden expenses include camps, costing primary students $312 per year, secondary students $443 a year on average, and transport to and from school, costing $512 and $610 respectively. I mean, that adds up. The time, that really got me. We did one term in a proper school, and the time you have to spend driving there, waiting, picking up, leaving. Because in a primary school, a kid can't walk home anymore these days because we're in the future now. That's one thing my daughter hears all the stories about the 80s. If you know about a $300 camp or a $500 trip to Canberra in advance, you can start putting away a small amount of money each week to help pay for it when the invoice is due. To help ease the overall financial burden, talk to your school about potential payment plans. My kids go to a public school and we pay $250 to $300 per year per student for school supplies. I mean, see, this is the thing. A lot of this is bullshit. It is complete bullshit. The schools get enough money. Okay? They get enough money and they piss so much away. You know? We have the option to pay this in a lump sum or pay it off installments over time. Well, let's have a bit of a talk about this. I guess I'm not the demo here. You know, this isn't my lived experience. We've only done this for one term and then we jump ship again. I mean, there's something to consider. Honestly, if you've got all of these costs with schooling, and maybe you've got a few kids you're putting in childcare as well, and you're working, both parents are working, maybe one of them says, you know what, we'll go home, we'll homeschool. Save all that money. Spend all the time with your children. Live a different life. It's not for everyone. And the experience a lot of people had during COVID with the schools trying to do remote education, it's different. But, I mean, there you go. Costs are going up, and people are pulling the kids out of school to save money. I can't say I'm surprised. This is what we knew would happen before we start seeing people selling their houses, guys. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Thanks for watching. Check out my other channel, Heise BIM and Heise Does, where I discuss BIM and things that I'm doing. Completely different to news, so a nice break. And if you want to support us, you can financially on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. And thank you to everyone who supports the channel, but don't feel pressured to. No matter any YouTuber like The Quartering, he'll do his bloody sob story, how he's going broke and making no money. That's all bullshit. Supporting creators is a complete luxury. Okay, if you're having to scrounge away money to get your kids to go to camp, you don't support a YouTuber. Okay, that comes after all of that. If you got credit card debt, you don't support a YouTuber. Same thing. Okay, so don't feel guilty if you have to cancel a Patreon and say my financial situation's changed. That's no creator should get pissed at that. If they do, then they're probably some douchey bloody kid anyway, or an e-thought. Don't simp, boys. Don't do it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. And I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now. They really make it, the whole kids cost so much narrative. They really play that up, don't they? Yeah, well...